What is up, peeps? Hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to the recap. Each and every week, me and Hunter, we talk about things, and we also wear esports hoodies while doing it.
Hunter and Jake back at it again. Here we are.
And we're ready to get back at it. Hope you guys are too. Let's get into it. And yeah, we got to talk about this one. That being, as of us recording, no response on one of the bigger controversies this past week, which certainly did blow up first in a sellout. That being for Valkyrae, and I mean selling out the entire line of what was a skincare collection known as Reflect, which was branded as protecting your skin from blue light pollution, among some other things, which right away was seen as a great thing, and then shortly after people read into it, was seen as maybe not so great of something.
It seems as if this blue light doesn't actually affect your skin to the degree that people think it does, or maybe didn't even think that it does from screens, because it was something crazy like you'd have to spend straight up 15 to 30 days in front of a computer to equal 15 minutes outside. And so it seemed like a problem that didn't really exist. And so of course there's a lot of backlash there. We talked about it a lot. If they had just gone the normal route and just released a normal skincare product, it would have been fine. But at this point, I think Ray is kind of backtracking, backpedaling a little bit, and having to figure out what to say.
I don't believe the fucking blue light is destroying your skin in the way that the Reflect product presents itself. It's just fucking soap. It's called marketing, okay? And marketing is all propaganda, i.e., it's all fucking lies.
All this shows to me is that going outside is the true danger out there, and we should all stay inside and wear whatever we want on our faces. But yeah, obviously, myself included, you guys can joke at me. I was also one of those people that at first thought this is great, maybe not so much after further reading into it and should have done the proper research. Speaking of which, we still have no response from Ray on all of this backlash and controversy ongoing. But yeah, one thing that we agreed on, if it would have been skincare alone, like a lotion or a moisturizer, she would have killed it. If it would have been blue light glasses, she would have killed it. And now we're in a weird in-between where we need a response from her for more. What do y'all think about Valkyrae and the backlash ongoing for a Reflect skincare line? That was really tough to... Next story. Probably the biggest wars. I mean, this week's been pretty freaking hectic. I missed the first couple of days, but hey, I mean, I'm back, and so is the drama out there in the Warzone space. This was by far and away the most split I have ever seen. Such a hectic debate. This coming from the Warzone space. It was actually involving a streamer known as Dan Dangler, and then FaZe Santana, also a Warzone streamer, calling her out for what she did was a breast cancer awareness stream where 50% of donations went to the research, breast cancer awareness, and the other 50% went right to her. Something she disclosed right away, was made very apparent, and everyone did know. So if you donated to her, you knew exactly where your money was going to go. Split 50-50. FaZe Santana quickly took to Twitter to actually say how disgusted he was about this, and this sparked everyone and their mom talking about how this is either the worst thing ever, or it's like, yeah, you know, I understand where she's coming from. I saw a pretty big split. I know you and me kind of fell towards the side of like, not really sure on this one, but certainly the community, I mean, widely split.
I think it just, I said this in the video, but it depends on how you're looking at it. And also, someone put this a good way. If she had streamed all day that day, hadn't said anything about donations or anything, but at the very end been like, hey, we're donating half of what we made today to breast cancer awareness, everyone would have been so happy. No one would have said anything. But for whatever reason, whenever you start out by saying, hey, half of what we get donated today goes to breast cancer awareness and the other half I keep, then it starts to rub people the wrong way for whatever reason. And of course, like you said, everyone's very split on this because some people are like, man, she's donating, which is true. It's like she's donating to breast cancer awareness, so how can we really be upset about it? But there is a certain weird tinge there where it's like, well, why not just donate all of it if you're gonna do a stream like that? I
am so like, I don't want to get under fire here, okay? Because I think both of us lean towards the 50 is a pretty big split, right? Maybe 70-30, maybe 80-20. I think anytime there's a split where part of it goes to you yourself and not all to charity, you're going to receive some kind of backlash. This being 50-50, I totally understand why some people will be pissed off, but I do also understand a big primary argument being she raised more for breast cancer awareness that day than we did.
Yeah.
So I understand both sides. I still lean towards, you know, I look towards a guy like Dr. Lupo. He's like the prime example of how charity should be, right? Does not take a single dollar for himself, 100% goes to St. Jude's, and the man is raising millions just out of the kindness of his own heart. And it certainly did not help because the same day or around the same time of all of this, Foosley also raising $55,000 for charity, which every single cent was donated to the charity. We have seen a lot of mixed feedback when it comes for Ricochet, which is still feels like a cheesy line for a Warzone and Call of Duty anti-cheat, but hey, it's slowly approaching. There are several doubters, one of them that you covered, Dr. Disrespect, who has been really outspoken over the past few days as per usual, but specifically when it comes time for will Ricochet actually work.
My game crashed. Fun. It's been a fun day playing this fucking shithole game. You know what I mean? What do you think the chances their anti-cheat software is actually going to be very successful? There's a part of me that's a PR play. There's a part of me. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed.
Which is the big question, I think, for everyone. Obviously, we see people still getting hackers no matter what. We saw, I think in that video I showed Nickmercs getting murdered by a man in a bunny suit early. And so they're still everywhere. And it's starting to lead people to question, especially with that leak that we had of, hey, is this actually going to work? Because there's a lot of hope at first, I'll say, but still doubts in people's minds. Like, oh my gosh, they announced this. It's this big video that they made. Maybe it'll actually work. And then there's a leak the next day and people were like, man, I think this was just a PR move, which is what Doc says. This is all just PR. I think they just wanted to put that out there, but it's not actually going to work.
Dear cheaters, you are not welcome. Blah, 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 blah. I think everyone's going to come back to that day when you use this. And again, I think a large majority of us can agree that someone's going to sneak through. People are going to find a way to cheat and hack. They do it in every single game. It's not going to work 100%. At this point, it's to how well can it work. But when you put everything on this, the promotion of your brand new Call of Duty Vanguard, and you have a freaking message to cheaters posted and go viral, you have set expectations sky high. So I don't think Doc and others can be wrong to kind of go off of that and say, they're not going to live up to expectations.
And I have to say there's a couple conspiracies that came out of this that who knows, they could be true. But one being that there's people on the inside on Activision leaking out information for money, which I would say could be pretty likely.
That was a prior accusation before we talked about.
Yeah. And so, I mean, imagine you work in there and there's some cheat providers that are like, hey man, I'll slide you a few thousand to leak us the code for your kernel level driver, the word that I cannot say ever.
Your kernel KFC, yeah.
Exactly. And so there's that conspiracy. Then there's also the idea that maybe they leaked out this information on purpose with a different version of it so that they could catch whoever was leaking this information. And so who knows what is really going to happen in the long run, but people are definitely questioning things at this point.
Yes, people questioning Call of Duty Warzone anti-cheat. Do you guys think it's going to work? It's pretty apparent that several Twitch streamers who sign big contracts do have some requirements on their end. I believe when Ninja and Shroud came back, they had these too, and especially with big contracts like Nickmercs signing the biggest one we have seen to date for streamers, you got to play some ads over there on Twitch, which he saw a few run-ins to the news and headlines out there. First one that I saw that I liked the most was 100 Thieves placing an ad on Nickmercs' Twitch channel, which if you guys don't know, is just like a really funny thing to have him react to.
Are you running ads? Are you running 100 Thieves ads on my Twitch channel? Now, how is that what we're doing here, right? Nade Shot hit you up? Oh, he said he needs the money? Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Just, I don't even know. We can't even get into all the stuff with the 100 Thieves
and
Nickmercs. There's other videos on it. Jake has for sure made videos on it in the past. But with the beef between Nade Shot and Nickmercs, that really isn't resolved at this point, and I don't think ever will be. Like, it's just a rift that's going to stay there. It's hilarious to me, and I'm sorry that it's funny to me, but seeing 100 Thieves ads on Nickmercs' channel, it would be like the same thing if you went over to Nade Shots and we started seeing FaZe ads on it, you know, or like Infam Gauntlet ads on it. Like, who knows what's gonna happen?
Which, you know, would be equally laughing, because that would be freaking hilarious. Nade Shot goes live on Twitch, and all of a sudden you see Infam Gauntlet Apex Legends being promoted on it.
Right.
That'd be hilarious.
And so we had that. We also had another clip that is up in the air questioning whether or not Nick was actually responding to this guy or to one of his friends to a previous situation. But we saw a viewer complaining about all the ads being run on the stream, to which Nick then said, again, might not have been to him, like, shut up. Like, I don't care. I don't care about you. Like,
I don't give an F about you.
Yeah.
It was a good rant. It was a good ninja rant like style.
7 ads. What the f this make me not want to watch? Hayes, can I be real with you? All right, one, homie, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't give a f about you, bro. No disrespect though. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just full transparency. I don't give a f about you. Okay. Two, right? If you saw me in Rebirth, homie, I light your shit up, bro.
And so who knows, but it seems as if he is required probably, or just they make a lot of money from these ads. And so if he's playing a lot of ads, imagine he gets 700 Thieves ads in a row at this point.
Yeah, I just have to imagine when you sign a contract that's tens and tens of millions of dollars and bigger than one we've ever seen, that Twitch might be like, hey, man, can you sneak some ads here and there? So it's going to happen, and we'll see if Nick keeps on responding to people who do complain about it. But hey, the man earned his paycheck, that's for sure,
Right.
and Twitch is trying to earn theirs right back. Nickmercs 100 Thieves ads on Twitch. Pretty crazy times. Ninja took this past week to actually go on the Courage and Nade Shot show. I agree with you. Probably one of the better episodes they've had in some time. And certainly this far down the road after the Mixer failure, it's always great to kind of dip back a little bit on all the reasons that Mixer failed. Ninja talked a lot about a lot of different things in this one, but also going back to talk about how going through all these levels and all the simplicities that just were never going to work out with Mixer. And what he also mentions is the simple things that having to go through Microsoft, it was a large portion of why Mixer was really never going to make it.
Like there was just this wall, bro, where we would talk to Mixer and we're like, hey, like this is what really is preventing people from coming onto the platform. And then they were like, okay, we gotta go to Microsoft. So it'll be like one thing, like they're to make a username, Microsoft email account only. Are you serious?
Bro.
Like, and then you had to and then they gave you a username just like they do with your Xbox Live account. And it was like, well, that's annoying.
Which seems like something that maybe people could have seen coming, but I certainly didn't think about beforehand that, hey, Ninja probably saw a lot of the problems with Mixer and he wanted them to be fixed because he didn't want to be more or less embarrassed about the situation.
Yeah.
And so he tries to go to people to get it fixed and they say, sorry, it'll take a year. We got to pass it over to Microsoft, which has to be so frustrating, especially when you hear him talk about, man, I was putting in twice the amount of hours that I had to contractually to try to make this platform succeed, and it just didn't work.
So this is like a 150-hour requirement. I think I had a month. I was doing 300 easy. So
That's
like
crazy.
I wanted it to win. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I want people to know. I wasn't like I just signed this big deal and I like cashed out and like I was streaming double my requirements for 6 months straight.
And this might be a weird thought to have, but we have so many streamers who are at some point under a contract, in some cases some big contracts, that choose maybe not to speak out of the problems they know about. Although we've seen people like Courage and Ray on YouTube talk about YouTube's issues pretty openly. So everyone to each their own, right? It's also curious because Doc is in an in-between state where he'll talk trash on Twitch and he'll talk trash on YouTube because he's not contractually bound. So it's funny to know that Ninja probably, to your point, knew about a lot of the issues. But when you have 30 million on the line, you're probably going to just keep your head down, hope it gets fixed behind the scenes, and hope you get paid out down the line, which he evidently did.
And it was also interesting, and I don't even think we talked about this on the podcast, but I don't think we talked about this point he made. But he said that they found out something like 48 to 72 hours beforehand about
Yeah.
Mixer, that it was going downhill, that they got a call and they're like, yeah, this isn't looking good. And he says 48 to 72 hours in the clip. And so of course, question it a little bit, like who actually knows, but also just imagining that you were in that position and then suddenly you get told, oh yeah, this platform isn't going to exist in a couple days anymore. That's just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, obviously we're going to have to choose to believe him.
Yeah.
But there were some doubters thinking that, okay, how far ahead did Shroud and Ninja know this was not going to work out? Because if you guys remember, all of the Mixer streamers, they found out the day of, the minute of. So they weren't given any forewarning. That was a big part of the downfall too. Mixer did just about everything wrong towards the end of all of that. So Ninja spoke a lot about Mixer and why it ultimately failed. He said it was, well, never really had a chance. As per usual, hope you guys all enjoy the recap, huh? We'll catch you back here next time. Until then, bye.